Greetings and salutations. This is Rick Koppel coming at you with another episode of Not a Linux Screw Guy channel. Today we're continuing our series where we're looking at new user Linux reviews. And today we're going to take a look at Peppermint OS, which is a review I did back in some last year. This is a review of one of the things that got me started on my distro hopping journey was Peppermint OS on my main daily driver computer laptop over here. We'll look at Peppermint OS on the other side of the intro. So we're ready to roll on the distro review for Peppermint OS. Before we get started, I have a couple of things I need to add. Installed, I had to change my living room computer because Garunda, that had Dragonized version I had installed over there, had a crash or something, update, and my panel changed back from default configuration or something like that because I lost several icons on there and it had other problems and issues. So I said, well, we'll just install something different. So I installed Pop! OS on it. And on the installation of Pop! OS, I found out a couple of things. One, that it does have, it doesn't use GW, but it does have an installer on it because I had installed the Zoom deb file. So I installed that on there by double clicking on it, see what would happen. Popped up in Eddy, which is I guess graphical GUI installer for package like that, and installed it just fine. So yeah. So now we're going to look at Peppermint OS. Yeah, so let's go over to the website. You're now looking at Peppermint OS's website, which is called Peppermentos. Peppermint OS. Reminds me of Peppermentos, so the candy. Yeah, Peppermentos OS. Yeah, so you go down here. It's pretty easy website to navigate. Not too fancy, nothing snazzy or modern looking about it. Pretty standard website. And you got a download link here. And you just click on that. There's only one desktop you can check out on it, which is LXD with a hint of XFC thrown in and a hint of, well, dash of XFC with the whisker menu and the XFWM4 window manager, say borrowed from XFCE. And then they got Cinema, as you notice, they had Cinema Nemo on there as well. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, they probably use something similar to, I think they have their own kind of terminal that they use a little bit, pimped up to their own specifications. But it's a version of GNOME Terminal, I think. Basically something similar. And anyway, when you go to the downloads, it gives you some instructions on how to do this kind of thing. And what version to choose, and it gives you download links. You got your torrents and you got your direct downloads. 32 bits for older computers and 64 bits for more modern computers. So you just click on that and it downloads ISO and you install it to USB, all that kind of stuff. And put it on your computer and boot up on it. So yeah, you got the Nemo file manager here. It says fresh from the Cinnamon desktop environment, the ultra smooth Nemo file manager allows easy connection to remote network shares. Fine gain control of desktop icons. Custom action scripts. Together with the new wallpaper manager, easy configuration of desktop backgrounds. Oh wow. All that means is if you're on an image, you can right click on the image and it'll allow you to set the background to the image. Image is the background. It's also got the web app integration with ICE, which is cool. I like that. That's what originally got me started on my distro hopping days back in last the year. So eventually, because I had this, I did a review on it, and it's down in the description, but I did a review on Peppermint, and I really liked the ice concept. So as you know, went through several iterations because Peppermint OS bombed on me the first time, and that kind of thing. So yeah, you just download Peppermint OS, the Peppermint 10 respin. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, whether it's one word or whether it's respin or respin. Mileage may vary depending on how you look at it. So I think that's what gave Peppermint its claim to fame as ice, and also its lightweight desktop. Uses minimal amount of system resources, as you will soon see. Let's go check out the ISO. Alright, you should be looking at my screenshot of my Peppermint installation on my computer, my second computer, the desktop that I use for my writing computer mainly. Looks nice, pretty nice out of the box. And this is pretty much what you'll see when you log into the system first time you boot it up. Now I'm not going to show the whole installation procedure like the other ones. It's pretty simple. But I'm going to tell you this one thing about the installation. You may remember I did a video on Peppermint some time back, and I installed it in the VM, and then everything went smoothly. So I then I like the idea of the ice function on here, which is similar to the Webinator, I think it's called on Linux Mint, that they've introduced recently, which basically puts containerized versions of websites into containers, so that then puts them on the menu so they run like apps. So I thought that was a cool feature, and I like Linux Mint, the way it's put together and everything. Thought maybe I'll run that as my daily driver. So I installed it over Linux Mint I had at the time, and lo and behold, I ended up with a scrub menu issue at the end of it, where I couldn't seem to install it because it gave a fatal error. When I was trying to install a grub comment on there, it had a problem, and it keeled over and played dead. As it turned out, maybe, I don't remember if I ever tried booting the system after that or not, but at least this time it seems like it did the same thing on this other computer now as it did on my first time on the laptop over here, and now I've done it on this computer over here, and the exact same thing happened there, and I was going, what's going on with this distro? And I looked, some other people had issues with it on the internet. I looked through trying to figure out what the problem was or issues was, and I came to the conclusion that I thought I was going to have to install. I thought I was going to have to ditch this whole review of Peppermint on the system because of this issue. So I was going to reboot. I was going to shut it down. I was going to take the Peppermint stick out. I was going to boot it up and temporarily into the system. I was going to let it not boot up because I figured it probably without grub installed correctly. I figured it boot in to the system, but it did. Booted right up in the system. Now I had to issue a dpkg dash configure -a in order to rectify the issue that it created on the installation when it did that, but it worked after I got it all that done. So yeah, it told me to do that, in case you're wondering how I figured out how to do that. Yeah, I didn't know that off the top of my head. I just remember when I was booting in, it said So we went to do an update first, and then the update failed, and it said you need to do. They gave me that information. You need to do that before I could do the update. So I did that. Did the update. The updates went fine after that. Everything ran like normal. As you can see it on the computer, I've got it up and running. La-da! It wasn't that maybe it's not my computer so much as it's something to do with this installation procedure that they have on here that caused that problem. Maybe when secure boot's in place. I don't know. I tried it with and without secure boot. Legacy options turned on and off, that kind of thing. But still did it. Same. That's one I remember from last time. I think I tried to disable secure boot on it, and it still had the same problem, same situation. I don't know as if I tried to boot into it anyway. So the thing is, when you boot into it first time, even if you got that error, go ahead and finish it out. It'll say installation is finished, and it'll give you the option to restart and then boot in the system. And if it goes correctly according to plan, it should boot into there anyway. You may have to issue that command for your first update, but yeah. Seemed to work fine after that. So I do get to do this review of Peppermint anyway. Yay. And I've also tweaked it out a bit on it, so I'll show you some of that a little bit later. But first, let's get on with our evaluation based on my new user Linux review spreadsheet information. We have first thing we're going to look at is ease installation, which I just talked about. I'll probably get a point or two off for that thing because most new users aren't going to know that it's not going to work. They'll figure it since it had a fatal. It said fatal, and it booted, stopped the installation right toward the end of the whole thing. Most users are going to figure, hey, this is I can't boot into this sucker without even trying, unless they accidentally do it like I did. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a hiccup there if they encounter that error. I don't know how common it is. I don't know how many people, or if I just happen to have two computers, or whatever issues that cause that to happen. Who knows? Some links, man. I never had any on any other distro though do that on any of these two computers. They've both worked pretty much out of the box. Pop OS, Elementary, Linux Mint, all of those installed without a hitch, without a problem. So who knows what the distro is there, but anyway, something's going on with Peppermint that causes that issue when it's trying to install the grub-common file on the computer. So let's get into it and find out. So we got a tour. Now Peppermint didn't have really any kind of real guided tour. Or what it had was very minimal. This control center, it's really the window manager, as it says there. Window manager and input settings. I don't know why they call it control center. It could be confusing for new users coming from Windows, especially where control center meant all your settings. But that's actually down here in Peppermint settings. Down here, it's manager system settings. That could be confusing for new users though. Coming from Windows, they have control panel, not be a control panel for all your settings like that. It's really your window manager settings. I don't know why they call it control panel. It's the same right here. Now we have web browsers, Firefox. It's pretty nice overall. Pretty snappy. Once you get it cooking. They really seem to have an email client there. That's a mark off on that. No email client that I can see. But you have Firefox. And you file manager. You have now this interesting thing about this is I will tell you right off the bat, this uses a whisker menu, XFC's whisker menu, and XFC's window manager, which is WM4. But yeah, so it uses those things, but it's actually LXDE desktop. It doesn't look kind of like the whisker menu so much. some ways. Yeah, if you click on this, the whisker menu right there. Whisker menu. It's using whisker menu. So it's got this LXD laptop, desktop, and you can see that if you right there, LXD desktop with XFWM4 window manager. And the interesting thing about that is it's actually got a touch of cinnamon on it. Uses Nemo file manager, and that's a plus for me because I like Nemo more than most file managers. And it's highly configurable and all that kind of stuff. I know how to get around it and know how to make it work for how I like it to work. So I use that mostly. If I have the option of using it, I do it. And you see here the memory here is only using almost about 650 megabytes out of 16 gigs of memory that I have on the system. So yeah, it's pretty light. I think before I open and close some programs, it showed, well, it's got OBS running in the background now, but yeah, it's got 656 megabytes. It had like 500 and something last time I looked before I started OBS up. And doing all this recording stuff probably is using more memory, but it's pretty cool. Yeah, all that memory available for other programs and stuff. And it uses X-Terminal emulator. Open this up. We got files, which is Nemo. Text editor, which I think is from Cinnamon 2. Yeah, text editor. Yeah, XEd. So I thought, but I want to make sure though, because my memory sometimes fails me on this kind of stuff. So you can theme out XEd however you want when you get it in there. That's your desire to do so. And so we got that. And we got, let's see what else we need. Oh yeah, we got music player and media players to go on this. So multimedia. Yeah, it's got media player there. No music player, so that's 1 point off there, apparently. So 2 for the no email client, and 1 mark off for no. Now, personally, I like it that way myself, because then I like VLC. I don't really like VLC that much. It's okay, but yeah, I know it's a standard for a lot of people, and it's kind of like the go-to media player, but I like celluloid better. It plays everything I want it to play pretty much, and it also has functions on it that are hard to pull off in VLC. It's easy. I can slow it down real easy, just pressing 1 key. Yeah, so that's what the situation is on that part. You got all that. Program availability. Now this is probably about the same program availability as Pop! OS and Linux Mint, so I'll probably be an out on that. But yeah, I've been able to, because it's basically based on Ubuntu. Printer set up pretty easy on this, so it'll get a 10 on that one. Printer just popped right in, and yeah, if you go up here settings, printers. Yeah, I just installed this right out of the box, and I didn't actually have to install it. It just was sitting there waiting for me to for me to come over and play with it a bit. And I printed out successfully a test page off of it. Without any problems or issues. So also I'd like to report too, same thing happened on Pop! OS. Well, yeah, I guess, yeah, I was trying to install it on my living room computer today, and it just installed the printer, popped right in right out of the box like it did last time, but except this time it actually printed a test page out of it. And not sure what the difference was, but yeah, I probably should go back and give it Pop! OS a 10 on that part too. If I knocked it down any for that reason. And then installed it right out of the box when I installed it on my desktop out in the living room. So that pretty much covers, I think, all the files and stuff for availability. Yeah, they got a see, Synaptic Package Manager, also got a software manager here that you can run. And it's for pretty, I think it's basically the same one that you've seen several of the others have. You saw VirtualBox, Banshee, Escape, GIMP, Gparted, Thunderbird, Cheese, Calibre, all those kind of things. Now, one of the things you use like on this, I think, I tried to install Zoom on my computer out there, and I think it pops up one, but it's Black Pack version, if I remember right. Yeah, this one doesn't have Zoom on it specifically. Yeah, but anyway, on this you want to go to the website and download their deb file package anyway and install it that way rather than that. I also found out when I did that I had to go to the website because they wanted to install a Flatpak version on Pop! OS's version of the Pop store. And I know from experience the Flatpak version of the Zoom application is very, very stable, I guess you could say. And that I would want to, so I've gone to where I don't install a Flatpak version of that anymore. I just go and download it from the website. That means I have to do some special things when I'm going to put it on other sites like OpenSUSE or things like that, where maybe I don't have a easy to install package out of that. Or yeah, so you have to go and do special things for those guys, but yeah, it's not hard to do overall. The software manager for Peppermint, what it looks like. And so you can install pretty much anything and everything there. And, you know, it's even a Flatpak version there. I'd probably go through Flatpaks and install Zoom on there if I wanted to. But I'm not going to now because it'd probably take too long probably. Let's see, printer setup, shortcuts, and themes, wallpapers. This is a little bit different because there's, yeah, when I brought up the menu and I typed in themes, didn't really seem to get much. Thunderbird theme lock, Firefox theme lock, icon browser, image search for files, terminal, power manager, menu editor. Also, you'd think, well, this doesn't have any theme manager in it. It does actually. You just won't pull it up on there. You have to go to the settings manager to find that out. And you access it right here. All settings. And you go to appearances, I think customize look and feel right up there at the top there. Now here, see it's got widgets. You add these widgets to it. Go to window manager. And you have different ones you can add to it. You pop on it, puts it right in there. I kind of landed on, I think, this one here. Because it had a minimal look and feel over here on the widget, on the bindings over here. Yeah, but yeah, you can go through these and pick out the one you like best. Gray Bird is pretty high stuff. Yeah, a bunch of peppermint ones here. Check out. Yeah. I personally like that one best out of these. Here you can see your default font and size. Here you can see your color scheme. Here's your icon theme. You can see what icon themes you like. Now, if you notice I got candy icons in here, haha. Yeah, I like candy icons, right? Fly. All my icons just switch to candy down here. Which kind of goes with peppermint, right? Candy, peppermint, yeah. Fits. So yeah, you got several options on that. You got mouse cursors. You got basically two options there, so unless you install some other mouse cursor themes, you got that. Font. Other. Toolbar icon size. You can say how big you want your toolbar icons, that kind of thing. That's where you find your themes at, is in your settings and under customize look and feel. Yeah, if you just type in themes on the thing, nothing pops up, strangely enough. Here's your wallpapers. You want to know where your wallpapers are? Right here. Now they have all the same like beachfront. Now you got, well, that's basically your preview of them right there. You hit apply, then you see it on the background. Get a bigger picture of it. But naturally, I'm interested in something more interesting. I have a good selection of wallpapers over here. So this looks like. That kind of forest. Interesting. Magic Light. Yeah, so yeah, you have peppermint options down here. So you can scan through this one at your leisure. Pick out a theme you like particularly and go with it. Here you can select preferences, what you want. You're like, you want it to list names. It appears to be wallpapers. There's, you can say your directory. You add directories. Like if you want to add a picture directory, there you have some pictures that you particularly like. Add that there. And yeah, that's themes and wallpapers right there. Pretty good selection for both of them. Keyboard shortcut setups, yeah. Keyboard settings, I think, is where you find them. Application shortcuts. So I put some already in here. I got Firefox entering, Super B, LibreOffice Writer, Super W. It's two that I've entered in here. Then, the interesting thing about this is, like I said, you up here and set your window manager stuff. Oops. One too many. Yeah, so here you can say your window manager stuff. You can set your theme that you're going to use for it. It's Graybeard Compact. And center. A lot of things you do here. You click to focus, or you focus when you follow your mouse. Anyway, your keyboard shortcuts right here. Now, this is kind of disorganized a bit how they have it structured here, because like you'll have your, some of these be like over here. I've gone through these and better did change some of the settings on them. So these over here are all out of the box type things. But yeah, some of these like you find them in different spots. Here's window manager stuff, and move window keys. See, they're kind of out of order to a certain extent. Start 6, 7, 9, 11, and then you got 10, 11 down here, I think. Here's your workspace keys. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Between windows, they got 2 workspaces automatically out of the box that you can use, and you navigate it by the right keys or by the super keys. But yeah, so if I want to go 3, see, I can't do it. And because I only have 2 Windows workspace set up so far over there. So yeah, some of these seem to work, some don't. I'm not sure how, why, or what, but yeah, it's a little mixed up in how they have them structured here. Just kind of like they're thrown in a big pile. And it's kind of like putting together a puzzle, so to speak. So there's that. So it gets a few points off of that, but otherwise it works pretty well. You can set your shortcut keys how you want it to work on there. You just take ones that are out of the box and use them that way, whatever will float your boat. So that's all that, and the menu works pretty good, other than it sometimes doesn't bring up things that are actually in there. Like, sure, I wonder if I was thought to look at customize or what, then maybe see. No, yeah. Oh, there it is. Customize look and feel. Sure enough. If that's typed that instead of themes, I'd have been okay, right? Like, why do people call these all these different names? So a standard thing like wallpapers, that makes sense. You can bring that up pretty quick. But so yeah, it's pretty easy to launch. There's a few cryptic ones in there, and the Peppermint Control Center isn't actually a control center for like it is Windows, so that's the difference. Otherwise, it works pretty good. I mean, it's customizable. It's easy to, once you know where to go, what buttons to click and things like that, you can generally get stuff done in here. You can structure how you want it to look, and so there's theming available, which is good. That is Peppermint OS. Now let's go check out a spreadsheet. Here we are at spreadsheet to evaluate Peppermint OS with other ones. There's what we got in here. Okay, so web navigation, I gave that a 10 because although it was a little bit dated and not real snazzy or nothing modern looking about it, it was practical and easy to get around on and stuff like that, which is really what's important. The installation, because of the problem I had with the glitch there toward the end of the installation was installation of Grub Dash Common, and a lot of new users are going to be not think it's a good system because of that and not install it, and you'll probably losing some users that way for the system. Yeah, new users especially aren't going to know what to do about that very well. I guess it's a skin system, and they'll try to reboot into it and find out whether it works or not for sure. Yeah, that's how you get into how I installed it anyway. Just go ahead and rebooting into it, even though I had that error. And then I had to run the D package dash configure dash A to get it to reset and finish up the installation. And it almost finished. And it worked fine after that, so that took a couple points off of there. Now a guided tour, there really wasn't much of a guided tour, so I gave it a 2 on that. Now, web browser, I have email client here, but I didn't see email client in there. 1 point taken off because I didn't find that I had a video player, but I didn't have any kind of music player listed in there. Like I said, when I was going through it, you know, some people like that. Not having much stuff installed, but I'm testing it out for new users who just want to get things cooking, working right away without having to install a bunch of programs. And I was thinking some of the main programs people would like to have on their system in order to function and get things done that they want to get done. Program availability, I gave it a 9 along with Steam Linux Mint, Pop OS. Then on the easy sub printer, yeah, set up real quick right out of the box, no issues there. Then we have keyboard shortcut setups. I gave that a 5 because of some of the window manager shortcut keys didn't seem to work very well. Now the application ones all work perfectly. And like I changed the menu to a different key combination, Super D, and that seemed to work fine, but yeah, but for some reason it didn't want to work out of the box for the window managers. Even ones that had preset in there didn't seem to switch windows or move. I was trying to get windows to move over to other workspaces, and they couldn't get it done. So I got a 5 for that. Themes and wallpapers, yeah, they're pretty good. So I gave it about 8, about what I gave everything else. I had pretty good wallpapers and stuff. And theming, the only issue there was that the name for where you go to look for themes wasn't standardized to themes. It was standardized to customizable look and feel, which is themes basically. So yeah, and the window manager was called control panel, which it's not a control panel. Especially people coming from Windows are going to think control panel means the whole settings systems. That's not what it's about. It's about the window manager. Theming that and shortcut keys for window manager and that kind of. And then on the ease of menu and activating programs, because of some of those issues I just mentioned with programs being called different things and things of that nature, I gave that knocked a couple points off for that. So it's 8. So this has our all-time low for new users. I was really expecting Peppermint to do better than this, actually. Figured it probably would at least be comparable with the other ones. But yeah, his first one's dropped down in the 670s. I don't know. We got Ubuntu GNOME to go. We got Windows. We have Neptune OS left to go. And we'll find out how those do in the future episodes. But yeah, a little bit disappointed in Peppermint OS. I think what hurt it most was not having a guided tour or some kind of a welcome thing that got you through doing updates and first set of updates, stuff of that nature. And it missing email client. That didn't help at all. And then it had its themes and wallpapers issue. Keyboard setup, not theme wallpaper. The keyboard setup issue. Those are the biggest loss of points for it. It's those 3 items. So that's a spreadsheet and evaluation for Peppermint OS. That's Peppermint OS. I really like Peppermint OS actually. So I'm a little surprised it didn't do as good as it should have. Customizable. It's got a good desktop environment. A little hybrid between LXD, but it's got pretty good system resources. So yeah, I like it. But due to its installation issue and also the other things, it didn't score as high as some of the other ones did. So what are you gonna do? That's how the chips fall where they may, I guess. So we'll look at Ubuntu next time. Yeah, the old standby Ubuntu. And until next time, may the Linux Force be with you. Bye.